And welcome back. So, we are busy discussing habits. In our first session about habits, we discussed where you need to find your reason for wanting to change a habit or wanting to establish a habit. In other words, you need to really find the reason for you wanting to make a change. The way we make that change is by creating habits, implementing good habits, getting rid of bad habits. Now, in order to do that, as we said in the previous session, we need to identify the cues. Remember, a habit is made up out of three parts. It's a cue or a trigger. Then it is the habits, the actual habit, the routine, or the action that follows the cue. And then we've got the reward that we get from doing that action or habit. And that is what reinforces this and makes it a habit. Right. So that is what we discussed in our previous videos. So last time we spoke, we said we need to identify the cues. Now, today, I'm going to take it a little bit further on the last key of this puzzle, or last part of this puzzle to change or implement better habits is going to be fixing your routines, right? So, like I said in some of the previous videos, we're not going to rely on willpower and motivation for this because it is tough. We need to replace the action. We need to get better routines. We're talking about the active part now. So we've established the cue, the thing that sets this whole thing in motion. And now we need to get something that's better or healthier to do the physical action. Now, why I say we can't rely on motivation and willpower is because both of these are finite resources. You do not have an infinite amount of willpower and motivation. And yes, willpower can be trained and it can get stronger, but most people have a finite amount of willpower, especially when you're tired, when you're challenged, and just straight out when things are difficult. Willpower is not an ally, not one you can count on anyway. Right. So to bypass this, we need to be smart about this and we need to implement systems. If you want to make a plan to get better habits, we need to use a system. I'm trying to think of another way to say it, but we need to make use of a system. Right. So the system is easy. If it is a good habit that you want to implement, we need to make it easier for you to do that habit. If it is a bad habit, we need to make it more difficult to do that habit, to do that action. So, for example, if we want to implement a habit of running or walking in the morning, then something to make it easier is by putting out your running clothes and your shoes the night before. I mean, I even know people that go to bed in their running clothes so they can literally just get up in the morning and go for their run. Because if they have to stop and get dressed first, then they're not going to do it. So make it as easy as possible to actually go over into action, into that positive action that you want. If there's a bad habit, for example, you think and you realize you need to watch less TV, then make it difficult. So unplug your TV. So every time when you go plop yourself down on the couch, because that's usually how it goes, you're tired, you go plop yourself down on the couch and then automatically reach for the remote, turn on the TV, and you just get stuck there for most of the evening. So make it difficult. You're going to plop yourself down on the couch and you're going to realize, oh, I've unplugged the TV. Now I need to get up. I need to squeeze behind, most likely, the TV or the TV cabinet to turn the TV on again. And then I need to go back. So after a while, you're just going to be like, this is not worth it. This is, it's going to make you think twice. It's going to be much easier to pick up a book or actually have a conversation with the other people in your house than it is going to be to spaz out in front of the TV. Also, what this is going to do is it's going to make you stop. It's going to force you to stop and think. Because now, do I really want to squeeze behind the TV? Do I really want to go through all of that just so I can spaz out? This is actually not good for me. Let's make a better choice. Right. And that is going to be the beginning of replacing that habit, the bad habit, with something good. So, since we're talking about replacing habits, sometimes it's not as simple as just implementing new habits and getting rid of bad habits or starving the bad habits. Sometimes we need to replace. So, I think in the previous session, I used the example of drinking too much Coke during the day in order to feel awake and alert, because your body is craving the sugar and the caffeine. So there's not always an ideal solution for these type of situations, but something that you can do is we reverse engineer to see what is the reward that I'm getting from this habit. And these are the ones where you actually complete the action unconsciously. Before you realize what you're doing, you've already had your bottle of Coke. It's an automatic thing. So we need to identify what is the reward that I'm getting from this? What does my body need that's making it feel better that I'm getting from doing this thing that I'm not actually supposed to be doing or I don't really want to do? So in the instance of drinking too much Coke, it's going to be we need the caffeine hit to feel awake. So a healthier solution to that would be to replace the Coke with a black coffee. Then you're still getting your caffeine hit, but at least you're not getting in all of the calories and the sugar. But the ultimate solution for this will be actually just get more sleep, rest more, in order not to feel tired. Rest more, exercise more, eat better. But knowing all of this, it's not going to be as easy to change. So let's start making the changes, small changes, where we can, making healthier choices. There's never going to be an ultimate time to be healthy in everything. It's just which is going to be the better choice that's going to help me out of this situation now. Do I choose black coffee or do I choose a bottle of Coke? Right, so rather choose the black coffee. And something I want you to be aware of as well. When we're looking at what are the rewards that I'm getting, it can be something a bit more difficult and abstract sometimes. It's not just feeling tired, physical feelings in my body or craving sugar. It might actually be something a bit more like wanting to escape a difficult work situation, getting home and automatically pouring myself a glass of wine or two or three because I'm feeling anxious and I have this intense need to escape my work situation, my life situation. And the alcohol helps with that and it makes me feel better. So now we need to identify what can I do to address that issue. What we can do is I identify that wanting to escape is making me feel anxious. And for myself, something that helps with anxiety is going for a run. Going for a run, doing some breathing work, deep breathing work, relaxation work, that usually helps with anxiety. So instead of reaching for a glass of wine, to rather replace it with going for a run. So I hope this sheds some light on how we can change our habits. It's completely up to us. Ultimately, it is our own choices. We just need to be present in the moment, present in the now, and be conscious of what we're doing. So I hope this helps you guys to implement some healthy and good habits. And until the next time, Remember, you are fearfully and wonderfully made.